I everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us, and welcome to all Web Yeshiva students. I would like tonight, I just came right now, Ramesh, from a Shiva house of someone who, even though I didn't spend that much time with them, they had a big rishimu, a big signature in my heart. And the few times I got to spend with them were always so far out and miraculous, going back from a young age in LA. So I want to do tonight's learning in memory of Rabbi Meir Abasera. Some of you who know him, I'm sure you remember him. So he was one of those neshama. He was probably, I was trying to share this with the children tonight at the shiva, but he was probably the first free person I ever met. You know what I mean by a free person? It's not like too much of a complex concept, but when you grow up from, and you see someone that's free, and chooses to be free, free from, like with not like a free person. Wow, he just took the liberty and did whatever he wanted to do. Mapitzam is that he celebrated his freedom within the Torah. You check him up online. It sounds so cliche to say that these days. Check him up online. He was like not an online person, but he was a big neshama, and descendants. This is connected to the Abu Chatzera family, Baba Sali in Morocco, but he was very, very close to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He was known as the whistler. There's a lot of videos of the Rebbe looking at him, telling him, because he would know he knew how to whistle strong, whistle Gaval during the Farbrengens. So anyway, this year should be the Ilui Nishmato Yekara, and he should go up and whistle, give one big, huge whistle up there, crack open the last gate, whatever it is, and gamalnu, chalas with the bilbuliada, chalas with all the parades of confusion. Bezrat Hashem. We continue our learning, the Ilui Nishmas, Zechariah ben Avraham, Miriam bat Avraham, Eliezer ben Eliyahu Aryeh, and we continue for the Refuah Shlema of Binyamin Nachman Mordechai ben Ilana, Michal Moshe Ze'ev ben Yehudit, Natan Daniel ben Malka, Shoshana Retza bas Ahuva, Alter Baruch ben Sarah, and everyone else that needs a Refuah Shlema. This is the Parsha. This is, I have to end a little bit early tonight, I apologize already, but this is the Parsha. This is the Parsha because this is our Parsha. Even though there's those of us who aren't here with us right now in Eretz Yisrael, this is really our Parsha. This is the Parsha of Eretz Yisrael, it's the Parsha of Beis HaMikdash, it's the Parsha of Tisha B'Av, it's the Parsha of every broken heart, it's the Parsha of every disappointed Jew, it's the Parsha of every confused Jew, it's the Parsha of every beautiful Jew, it's the Parsha of where you could find every emotion in the book. It's right here in this Parsha. Parshat Shlach, the Shlach Lecha. The Parsha of going to Eretz Yisrael to see what Eretz Yisrael is all about. I don't know where to begin because there's a teaching for Rabbi Nachman that I really want to get to, and there's Ein Sof teachings of Rabbi Shlomo on this Parsha. Infinite teachings, infinite Torahs from Rabbi Shlomo on this Parsha as well. So like Rabbi Shlomo said many times, I'm not going to start from the beginning, I'm not going to start from the end, I'm just going to start from the middle. That's what he said many times, because whether you like it or not, most of us are in the middle anyway. We're not just born and we're not dead yet, we're all in the middle of something. So might as well just, jump in the middle. So we're in the middle of this right now. We're in the middle of the most beautiful Parsha in the world. Parshat Shlach Lecha. When you look at the names in the Torah, how many names are changed? How many names are changed while people are still alive throughout the Torah? Happens quite often. Avram, Sarah, Yaakov, Yeshua, who else? Is anybody else? Did we miss anybody? Other names that get changed? Yitro has 5 million of them. Tonight, when we understand the reason and the depth behind Yeshua's changing of a name, I believe very strongly, based on something Rabbi Shlomo taught, that we might finally have a chance to conquer Eretz Yisrael. Crazy, conquering Eretz Yisrael, what are you talking about? We're speaking right now from occupied Palestine. Of course we conquered Eretz Yisrael. What are you talking about? We have to conquer Eretz Yisrael? We might have come back, but there's still a long, long, long way till we conquer Eretz Yisrael. So first of all, the Torah is called Eitz Chaim Hi Lamachzikim Ba, for those who hold on to it. Rabbi Shlomo once said that the Meraglim thought they have to go check out the land to see if it's a land that's good for dwelling. And the whole downfall of the Meraglim was that's not why they came to check out Eretz Yisrael. They came to see, can they find themselves realizing that this is a land that you hold on to. What does it mean to hold on to? I wanted to talk about that for a little bit. What does it mean to hold on to something? Rabbi Shlomo said that Eretz Yisrael, we held, for 2,000 years in Galut, in the exile, we were able to make it because we held on to Eretz Yisrael. We didn't have it, but we held on to every Daled Amos in Eretz Yisrael. We held on to every stone of the Holy Wall, to every piece of soil throughout the Holy Land. We held on to everything. And holding on from afar was enough to keep us going. And many times when Shelon Neida, we shouldn't know about this. People that suffer illnesses, mental, physical, whatever it is, what keeps them going? Not the daily updates they get from doctors, but they're holding on to something. They can't explain what it is. They're holding on to something. So I saw once a cute way of understanding, connecting the beginning to the end of the Parsha. The beginning of the Parsha, Shlach lecha anashim, send for you scouts, right, to see Eretz Yisrael. And the end. What's the end of Parshat Shlach? Tzitzis. That's the Daber b'nei Yisrael, ma'atalem v'asu lahem tzitzit. So, I forget who says this, but they say that, tzitzis, what's the visual part of tzitzis? What can you see of tzitzit? You could see the strings. You can't really see the beged so much, unless you're Hasidish, I guess, because you wear it over the vest. I'm not sure what it is exactly. Or you're just Ruvain Prager or any biblical beged ivri chevra that wears those begadim. But most of us, if you can see a part of the tzitzis, it's those strings. And what are those strings? Whatever any explanation anyone gives to you on tzitzit, it's always confusing. It's never really, really clear. So what's tzitzit all about? It's strings. Can you mamish hold on with your last bit to the strings that are attaching you to klepei shamayim, no matter what? Can you hold on to it? I'll give you just a crazy, as a fard example. One time, a chassid of the Baal Shem Tov was traveling somewhere, I forget where it was, and a Cossack comes up to him and he says to him, tell me, Yidle, what's those things that are hanging on your sides? So the chassid, he's a chassid of the Baal Shem Tov, what chutzpah he says, well, you tell me, what's that thing that's hanging by your side? So the Cossack says, it's a sword. So the chassid says, this is also a sword. Do you want to duel right now? Do you want to go for it? So this is one of these classic examples of it's up to you to believe it or not to believe it. The chassid they go for it. The chassid this chassid of the Baal Shem Tov, he believed in tzitzis. Urisa Moso Schartem is Kol Mitzvos Hashem. He believed in the power of tzitzis. Took the tzitzis, went through it with the sword. Mamish broke the sword of this Cossack forever. The point of that story is that if you Mamish believe in every word of the Torah, that when you hold on to this, you hold on to your dear life, you'll break all the swords of all the Cossacks of the world. Do we really believe that Eretz Yisrael is ours to hold on to or not? Do we really believe?
Yes,
I'm not talking about this room.
No.
Do we really believe that Eretz Yisrael is our tzitzis against the swords of the world? Really, really believe it. This place is crazy. This land is nuts. This land is crazy, and what we're going to be learning about tonight, it's going to be very hard. Not hard like, oh my God, he's going again with the Kabbalah stuff. Not that kind of hard. It's going to be hard to really, really accept. It's going to be hard for a lot of people who are always hanging out in between the middle to the middle. I'm going to start from the middle and then go back to the beginning. And please, Mamish, open up deep inside and stay with me word after word, because we have something amazing to crack open together. And tonight, stop me if it's not clear. Please. Tonight it's very important that you stop me if it's not clear. We're trying to build something short, huge, but it shouldn't take too long, but it's going to be very hard. Rabbi Nachman in Likutei Moharan has 3 different perushim explaining one of the comments that the spies had, the scouts had when they came back. Eretz ochelet yoshvei. It's a land that devours its inhabitants. And when they said that, what did that make? What were they trying to say? Al pi pshat, according to the simplicity of things. When the scouts come back and they say it's a land that devours its inhabitants, what does that mean? It means that when we were in the exile and the desert, and manna is falling down from heaven, and there's a cloud that's protecting me, and remember, the cloud would come and wash them clean, and their garments would grow with them in the desert. You know, that's one of the miracles. Their begadim would grow with them while they were in the desert. Crazy stuff was going on. And they had a taste of going into Eretz Yisrael and seeing that that stuff doesn't continue. That whole way of relating to Hashem, of feeling so big, so wondrous, so magical, it doesn't happen here now. Really, it happens in a much, much deeper level in Eretz Yisrael. But not the way like it's Shalom Aleichem, guys. Come in. Not in the way like it's given to you in the desert. In the desert, I want to feel Hashem. What do I have to do? Chevra. I'm walking in the midbar. What do I have to do in order to feel God? Nothing. I don't have to do anything. The manna is falling down from heaven. The cloud is protecting me. My clothes are growing with me. And I'm sure there were like thousands of more miracles taking place that we don't even know of. The Meraglim come inside Eretz Yisrael and they say, Eretz ochelet yoshmea. People that live here, they get swallowed up by the land. Meaning, you can't just sit back, relax, and feel God, which is what we thought life was all about. You actually have to go through a lot of other things over here. And people seem so much bigger. And the world seems so much bigger. In Galus we felt so big, and here we feel so little. Like cockroaches in the eyes of the giants. Now, I'm sure you all know this. But if you want to feel like you're a Rebbe, go do shlichus somewhere outside of Eretz Yisrael. Go to some village where no one knows anything about Judaism. And you could open up a Chabad house or anything in the world. And you could feel it. You want to feel big? It's great. It's so weird. You could really feel huge outside the land. But it's not real. In Israel, it's Eretz Ochelet Yoshveh. It's a land that devours its inhabitants. But Reb Nachman says there's another Perush. And this Perush we learned a few weeks ago on the Shabbos afternoon shir. I'm just going to mention it very briefly. When the scouts came back and they said, Eretz Ochelet Yoshveh, Reb Nachman says, Teva Hamazon Mitapech Lanizon. That the nature of food is that it becomes consumed by its consumer. What does that mean? Food that I eat, it's true, once it gets processed, some of it leaves me, but some of it actually becomes part of me. Right? This is just pshat right now. Food that I eat, things that I take inside, I digest it, it becomes part of my mahut, part of my essence. So we know that every word of the Torah is sweet, and every word of the Torah is so good. What were the Meraglim really saying without them even noticing it? They said, this is a land that you get swallowed up by the land and you become part of the land. But that's only if you're willing to be eaten up. If you just want to be licked or I don't know, like tickled from the side or whatever, or like kisses on this, that you don't become part of it. Only when you become ne'echal. When you become eaten up by the land. You ready to get mad at me? Is that because no one...
Sure.
Sure? You ready to get a little bit mad at me, a little chutzpahdik in me. Here, regards to Avram and Sarah. Amesh, shekoyach, ki malacha v'tzavelach, yishmorcha b'chol d'rechecha. B'sham yilidei ha'anak. Listen to this. This is so awesome. This is amazing. Most of us, we get turned on to Yiddishkeit. Wait. I can't. What was that song of Blue Fringe? They were putting, like, rabbis had a hard time with it. What was that song? What was that one-hit wonders of theirs? Flipping out. Yeah, flipping out. Remember that whole song about kids that come here? Kids, people that come here for a year in seminary, and the whole song, they totally flipped out. They totally became so frum. They go back and they have, like, the sour-looking Pesach faces when they go to visit their families in America. Over Pesach, the show, seriousness means you have to look like this when you daven. Can't be like this. That means the tuition wasn't worth it if you come back davening like this. That means you were hanging out in Kikar HaChatula or something. It's not that you were learning Torah, because Torah, right? But you know what happens to us all the time? In every relationship, even when it feels right and it feels good, we always leave a little bit back. We're in, but we always leave like a little petach, a little opening to see, if I need to check out, I could check out over here. We don't fully get consumed by anything anymore. Why? Because we're always cautious, because we always think that everyone's trying to mess me up when I'm in Eretz Yisrael. I always think that someone's trying to litkoli sakin bagav. I always think someone's trying to I don't want to say the word right now, but you get my drift. We always keep some kind of a merchak from fully jumping into something. Like we always say, no, I can't get too carried away with my heart, because a mature person doesn't let their heart fully drive them. A mature person has to be open, but always has to know their matzorim. The Meraglim say, Eretz Yisrael, it's either all or nothing. Eretz ochelet yoshvei. In Eretz Yisrael, to be really one with the land, you can't be a spectator. And you can't be a very busy tourist. And you can't be someone that appreciates things in this land. Eretz Yisrael is something else. Eretz ochelet yoshvei. We are the food, and the land is the body. And the nature of food is that when it gets into the body, it becomes consumed by the body, and Reb Nachman says, nithapech lemahuto. It actually changes and becomes part of the essence of the body. That's what happens with food. And every Yiddish neshama has a chance to exercise their free will when they come to Eretz Yisrael. Am I going to enjoy the kisses, the chibukim, or do I want to be swallowed up by this land? And I'm not talking like Korach v'Adato. I'm talking about, do I want to become part of the essence of this land? And the Meraglim thought, listen, what's going to be with this manna coming down from heaven energy once I get swallowed up by this land? Then it'll be done. I'll have to relate to God on a different level. What's going to be, and now let's do a limud zchus, let's pull an ishbitzer right now on the Meraglim. Maybe they were saying, listen, most people don't have the koach to let themselves be swallowed up by Kedusha. Maybe they can only tolerate just a little bit. So for their sake, are you okay? Did it go on you? Yeah. For their sake, for those people that can't really enjoy a full-on Shana Aleph, or whatever you want to call it, for their sake, let me always keep that door open. People that are trying to kick bad habits can understand this more than anyone. We all know all the tricks where we trick ourselves into thinking, I don't really have to fully give up on this thing, because if I find a way how I could flow with it, then en bayah, it'll be okay. That might work in Galus. It's not going to work in Eretz Yisrael. There's not a chance for it to work in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, whoever walks around like this, maybe gets swallowed up by Korach v'Adato. But whoever walks around, like the Shulchan Aruch says, Rosho klepei mata, veliblo klepei mala. Then I might be like this, but my heart is always looking above. You have the privilege to be swallowed up by the land and become part of the land. To mamish become part of Eretz Yisrael. Who got this? 2 out of the 12. Yoshua and Kalev. We just had a Yidler of Simcha Hochbaum and his family go back to Hebron. It's amazing, we're talking about a Parsha where Kalev, one of the 12 spies, goes and davens in Hebron, and he was saved. And here a Yidler is sitting in our living room and he goes home to his house in Hebron where Kalev davened that we just read about in the Parsha. That's just mind-blowing. That's just beautiful. That's just, I feel so lucky that these cool things happen, right? That's Kalev. I want to talk about Yeshua, because tonight is really all about Yeshua. And once again, we haven't even started anything, and it's already 9. So I'm going to try to bring it all in together, and I'm asking you again to stop me if it doesn't get too complicated. Will flow. But I just want to point out again, the reason why I said this might be hard for people is because on a certain level, to do anything real in life, you have to be fully immersed in it. You can't keep a few fingers out of the water. For the real things in life, if you don't jump, then it won't happen. And you'll keep on being stuck and wondering, is this for real? Is it not for real? Is God really talking to me? Is He not talking to me? When you're not jumping in and fully immersed, Eretz Ochelet Yeshvea, you'll always be wondering, was this real or not? Did this really happen to me or not? But when you're in, and you mamish become part of the mahut of the land, then don't worry. Just like food, when it gets digested, the excess, the stuff you don't need, Baruch Hashem, Asher Yotza, that bracha is so miraculous, the stuff you don't need leaves you. Just the same thing with Kedusha. When you really jump and you're saying, I know my life depends on becoming part of the essence of the land, don't worry. What doesn't need to be there won't be there. And what needs to be there will be preserved, not just preserved, it'll be refined and it'll grow. And that part that your heart longs to become one with only becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Only if you are in tune with one word. What word is that? Bless you, anava. Humility, humbleness, being humble. I asked you in the beginning about names that get changed. To me, the highest name that gets changed, it's not even Yaakov to Yisrael. To me, the highest name that gets changed is Hoshea to Yehoshua. Vayikra Moshe leHoshea bin Nun Yehoshua. Right before Yeshua goes into Eretz Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu says, wait, one second. What's your name? Hoshea. Your name is now Yehoshua. Now, I want to show you how the world has distorted this name and has used this name for the biggest kfira and avodah zarah in the world, because they're mispronouncing his name, and B, they totally missed what the whole point of his name, Hoshea, becoming Yehoshua, should mean. And I want to offer two different things, two different explanations. One of them was a vort. You know how I said this, I think, I said this at the other beautiful night. What a beautiful night it was by David's Askara. It was so beautiful. Sometimes you feel like Hashem winks at you when He gives you something, and you say you'll need this later on in life, and you just feel like, wow, you just got a great gift. You don't really know what to do with it. You don't understand it exactly, but you feel like you just got the greatest gift in the world. So I was saying that certain things in life, like that last Shabbos we spoke about, it's like I always felt like, here, take this. I'm not going to explain to you what this is about now. You'll get it later. One day you'll figure it out in life. So sometimes we have that with vorts, that we know a vort is so deep, like the strongest cash Torah you'll ever need to keep on your pocket at all times. We've spoken about cash Torahs, right? Let me try that again. Very warm, convincing, interactive students. Does this feel like a lecture?
No.
Oh, thank God. That would have been the worst. That would have been the worst thing in the world. Let's now, we're all breathing. Not just me. We're all breathing. We're all internalizing. Hopefully we're all davening. Did you ever have a vort that saved your life? Did you ever have a vort that when you saw it, you're like, whoa, I'm keeping this one on me forever? Did you ever have a vort that when you learned it, it wasn't clear to you that you're going to remember this for the rest of your life? Yet when every single parsha came along, you always remembered it. It wasn't like, oh, now I'm going to remember. What did I learn then? It's just so given. Every time I learn this parsha, that vort keeps on jumping out again. Many years ago, my father came home and he bought a beautiful set on the Chumash. It was in a brown covering. This is 1990. My mom should remember this. This is how many years ago? 24 years ago. There was as I'm trying to feel younger, I say things that are 24 years old, right? There was something my father bought that was called Pninei HaChasidut. Since then, many of these Chumashim have come across. But this Chumash was basically a regular Chumash, and instead of after Rashi, all the other Perushim, it was just a sea of all the different Hasidic Rebbes. In Lubavitch, Breslev, Vishnitz, Mozhitz, Slonim, all of them. I don't remember exactly, I think this was one of the Ger Rebbes. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you've seen this before. But last Shabbos, we have a very puzzling thing takes place. What does it say? It says in the Torah, V'ha'ish Moshe anav me'od mikol adam asher al pnei adama. And Moshe is the most humble person to live on the face of the earth. Interesting. Who wrote those words? Moshe. So Moshe wrote, and Moshe is the man who's the most humble person on the face of this earth. That's pretty weird, right? You ever not do things because you're scared people are going to think that you're full of yourself? You ever not do something in the name of humility when really it is so not about you? And the only reason you're not doing it is because you think it's about you? Well, someone once called, I'll never forget this. I went to go hear someone in the States, someone that I was following, and I went to hear, I was in the States I was there for a weekend. I'd do something Shabbos and Sunday night, Sunday afternoon. Sunday morning I had off, and there's a shiur on a Sunday morning. This was somewhere without mentioning names, in the East Coast. And I went to hear this Rav, and I saw, I was listening to it online thinking, oh my God, there's probably 1,000 people come to this shiur. I got to get there early to make sure I get a seat. There was 5 people in a room, a massive room, and 5 people in there. And it was a great shiur. So I went up to him afterwards, I said, I don't understand what's going on over here. Does anyone know about this shiur? You just put it up online. He says, well, I don't really tell anybody. I said, well, why not? He says, I don't know, I never really thought about it. And then I said to him, there should be a line from here for 3 blocks out of here to hear these awesome words and deep and profound insights you're sharing. You have to have a PR campaign, go a social media campaign. I'll help you with it. Let's get this together. Let's mamish, make it happen. So he said to me a scary statement. He said to me, I'm afraid that if I'll start promoting it, then it'll be about me. And then I saw that there's something a bit problematic with that, because it can only be about you, or you think it's about you, if you think it's about you. If it's about the Torah, you can write, and I am the most humble person on the face of this earth, if that's what God told me to write. So Moshe Rabbeinu, of course he doesn't want to insult anyone, but to him, having God telling him, you have to do this, is what matters, and not what someone might think. But so often, it's such a deep lesson in life, we get so confused with what humility and arrogance are. So we think, no, I can't do such a thing, because people might think that I'm humble. Well, if that's what you're thinking, then you definitely shouldn't be doing this. But you have to reach a place that it has nothing to do with you. So Moshe Rabbeinu writing in the Torah, I am the most humble man in the world, just shows you how humble he is, because he knows everyone could think that he's so full of himself. However, he knows what? God has a bigger plan here. I just got to write these words down. They have nothing to do with me. This is on God. Is that clear? Now, Moshe Rabbeinu, thank you, that was a better response. Moshe Rabbeinu, now just to show you how Anav Moshe Rabbeinu is. How do you spell the word Anav, humble in Hebrew? Ayin Nun Yud Vav. That's how you spell in proper Hebrew. Ayin Nun Yud Vav. In the Parshat Baalotcha, Moshe Rabbeinu writes about how holy he is. Ayin Nun Vav. There's a Yud missing. It says, I think it was the Imrei Emes. I don't remember exactly. I don't remember. It was many years ago. I think it was the Imrei Emes. He says, where's that Yud in the word of Anav? That Yud is in the name Hoshea becoming Yehoshua. Moshe Rabbeinu took the letter describing his humility, and that's the letter which he gave to Yehoshua, saying, you're going to Eretz Yisrael. This is your letter. This is now your name. Now you're becoming this. Now it gets mind-bogglingly gewalt right now, if there's a term like that, okay? This is amazing. This is amazing. Vayikra Moshe le'Yoshua binun Yehoshua. What does Rashi say over there when he gets this new name? Kol Yoshiatcha me'atzas meraglim. Moshe Rabbeinu is telling the spy that Yehoshua, Hashem should save you from the Eitzah, from the advice of the Meraglim. Who are the Meraglim? If you had to choose today who the Meraglim would be, oh no, who do you think? Who would you choose today? Who do you think are the Meraglim? Who are the Meraglim? The biggest Rebbes in the world. Rav Ginsburg has a beautiful play on a lot of their words. You should see it. Stur ben Michael, Stur hu mastir et Hashem, et ha'or shel Hashem, Nachbi hu machbi et ha'or shel Hashem. It's beautiful stuff about a lot of their names. The scouts, they were the Rebbes. And what is Moshe Rabbeinu telling Yeshua? Be saved from the counsel of the Rebbes. What's he talking about? What's he talking about? That's what it means. This is going to be hard to swallow, very hard to digest right now. Were we meant as human Jewish people to grow up, and the ultimate goal is that I trust myself to know who to ask? Or is the infinite ultimate goal is that I trust myself to know how to listen to my own neshama? Even when all the Rebbes of the world might tell me otherwise. Now, no one's at fault for what we're about to do right now. This land is nuts, crazy. And 6 million Jews were killed, so we don't know anything anymore. Like, we really don't understand anything. Like, someone called me a few weeks ago and said, I realized it's a great line I could use. Someone called me and said, listen, on Shavuos, it says that at a certain point during the night, the heavens reopen and we receive the Torah again, and then it goes back. So the person said, I think, like, so at what point exactly does that happen? So I said, 6 million Jews were killed. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, at a certain point, like, I don't understand any. I understand when Shamayim opens and when it closes. That means I'll have to understand the other crazy mysteries of the world too. What I'm trying to say is, like, I want you to understand something. What I'm about to say right now is no judgment on anyone. All of us were born into a very messed up world. Okay? Let's just call it spade for spade. We were born into, not dafka our personal lives, but on a collective national level, we were born to a very weird and bizarre world. Very weird and bizarre time in the world, where things don't really add up the way that we know how to add them up. And things don't look like they're adding up per se. But especially when you learn a Torah that says God told, Moshe Rabbeinu told Yeshua before he went into Eretz Yisrael, listen, when you travel with these Rebbes, please, Hashem should save you from what they tell you. That's what Rashi says. What does that mean? What does that mean that this is what Yeshua is told? So now we're going to, I tricked you, I said before no Kabbalah, but now a little bit of just understanding something which isn't, it's not really Kabbalah, this is like, this is I'm just going to try to explain again God's name, what God's name means the way that we know it. Yud, then K, then Vav and Hey, right? Yud, Hey, and then Vav and Hey. Yud of Shem Hashem is God's Ein Sof light. The smallest letter It's God's Ein Sof light. And Hey is a vessel in Shemayim for it to express itself in the higher worlds. It's what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and the Arizal were trying to explain to us what it means up there. Sfirot, all these high partsufim, Ze'er Anpin, Mochin de Gadlus, Mochin de Katnus. This is a vessel for God's light the way it shines in Shemayim. And then what's the next letter? Besides David who whispered that, everyone here knows that there's Yud, K, and then Vav. Should we start doing the shir at 6:30? Let's go a little bit earlier. Then Vav. And what's Vav? Vav is this line bringing down that awesome light, whatever took place in Shemayim, Vav down here to this world. And Hey represents all my avodas Hashem, creating a vessel to understand this whole concept. It's like this. Hey, the Yud, the Hey and the Vav and the Hey are like basically explaining the deepest theories in the world and how it manifests in my life. Like Rabbi Shlomo said, for instance, imagine Einstein wants to give over to you all his theory about whatever he came up with, which was the greatest thing in the world. Could he just tell you straight up from where he's holding what it means to him? His Gedula? No, he has to put garments, explaining, well, this means that, and then finally you're like, oh, I see how it's all there. But where's the makor of all that light? The makor of the theory is Yud. So Reb Shlomo says like this, and he says this is also the Torah of Eretz Yisrael, is that Moshe Rabbeinu gave Yeshua the Yud, which meant trust your heart. Trust God's light that is in you before it starts being funneled in all these different levushim garments to try to make sense, and you'll understand it and whatever it is. Just believe in the light that is penetrating your heart. And when are you going to be tested to see if you're on the level to trust your own neshama? Not when everyone tells you, wow, the light that you were told, the light that you feel really is the right light. But it's when everyone tells you maybe that what you're feeling isn't the right thing, but you know in your heart that it is. Not only that, it's going to be when the greatest Rebbes tell you, no, you're wrong, but you know in your heart that you're right. That is the Yud from Yud Ke Vav Ke. Vayikra Moshe leHoshea binun Yehoshua. You want to make it in Eretz Yisrael? You want to conquer Eretz Yisrael? Don't go asking 50,000 shilas. Is this right? Is this right? Am I feeling this? Is that right? Is that right? Someone once came to the Frierdiker Rebbe in Lubavitch and said to him, Rebbe, I don't know, should I marry this girl that I'm dating? So the Rebbe said to him, probably not. He says, why? He says, because if you're asking me, that means that you probably are not sure about it, right? When it comes to those things, you have to own that decision. What happened to us with Eretz Yisrael? Reb Shlomo says the light of Eretz Yisrael is the light of the Yud of Yoshua, of that light where no one can tell you otherwise. Whenever anyone speaks today in the name of Eretz Yisrael, in the political arena, what always comes up? That we are losing what? What has Bibi been driving us down into? Tmicha ma'keila haben leumit. Support from the international community. Hu movil lebiduda shel Eretz Yisrael. Don't worry, Bibi is not such a tzaddik. This is not like a pro-Bibi shir. This is... no one's a tzaddik there. No one. Especially those that have like 5 apartments worth 20 million shekel. Right? No one's a tzaddik there. Everything is ma'amru goyim. When all of Eretz Yisrael, the way to conquer Eretz Yisrael is the Yud of Yehoshua. The Yud of Yehoshua, this light that says, I know what my neshama needs, and no one can tell me otherwise, even if it's great tzaddikim, like Reb Shlomo said. Do you know what Esav looked like? Not the way that he's illustrated in the Little Midrash says, because in the Little Midrash says, he looks like this disgusting, Russia with huge teeth that he's about to sink his teeth into Yaakov's neck. Esav wore a shtreimel and a kapata. Esav's Beis Medrash looked much more halig than Yaakov Avinu's Yoshev Ohalim. The tests aren't when people that look like Rishayim tell you, you're full of it, and you say, oh, B'Shem Hashem, I'm going to stand on my own. The test is when so-called holy people tell you, are you crazy? This is not for us. And you still say, I have the Yud of Yeshua. I can't give up. One time there was a Hasidic Yid who went to his Rebbe in 1937. He had a wife and 12 children. He said to the Rebbe, should I go to Palestine? Should I go to Eretz Yisrael? And the Rebbe said, there's a lot of stories of how many more thousands and thousands of Jews we could have had. But unfortunately, they listened to like Meraglim. Now, Meraglim doesn't mean evil people. It means Rebbes. Do you hear? Meraglim means Rebbes. It doesn't mean evil people, bad people. It means holy people. But like the Kotzker Rebbe once called someone an idiot. And the Hasidim that were around him said, Rebbe, you said that guy was holy yesterday. He says, so what? He's a holy idiot. Could happen. Right? This Rebbe said to him, Palestine? Come on. It's not from there. You want your kids to get that chinuch? Rabbi Shlomo says he wants a Rebbe who's not afraid of anything. He wants a Rebbe who knows that his light Torah can conquer the whole world. Was the Lubavitch Rebbe afraid of anything or anyone but Ribono Shleilim? I had a long conversation once with my Yedid Nefesh, Raz Harman. And the whole concept was like, when does a person know they can go out into the world and do something big? Is that when you know enough Torah to not care what anyone thinks. Not that you don't care about them, but you don't care about what they think. It's two different worlds. That I don't care what they think. Reb Nachman writes at the end of the first part of Likutei Moharan, Echad Haya Avram. There was only one Avram in the world till then, because Avram Avinu was the first person who loved people so much to the extent that he could care less what they thought about him, because he knew in his heart that he loved them. And he had the Yud, obviously. Some people say that also Sarai, her name was Sarai. And the Yud of Sarai also is the Yud that went to Yeshua. Hoshea becoming Yeshua. But for now, understanding what Eretz Yisrael is all about is understanding these two concepts. Eretz ochelet yoshvei hi. It's a land that devours its inhabitants means that I choose to be swallowed up and become part of this land. And the Meraglim thought that was a bad thing because you have to hold on to your own. When really, who doesn't want to be swallowed up and become part of the Shekhinah? Who doesn't want to be swallowed up and become part of a hug? We're always hugging like ever see basketball players hug? It's not really, it's like for a second there's a hand on the back and there's a chapcha and off. Right? Or like that and off. We always leave a petach. What if I want to get out of here? And until those of us that are actually here choose to become eaten up by the land, then we didn't conquer this land. We did not conquer. And I'm talking now about Kedusha, obviously. Until we'll hear, but we want to hold on to all those principles, all those like modern American morals that many of us grew up on. And sorry, it's a different ballgame. As much as we've tried, it doesn't work the same here. It doesn't work here. Here there's something else. Here there's something else going on. So that was the first thing, but Eretz Ochelet Yoshvea. And the second thing, just a few more minutes, and the second thing that we're learning is that this Yud comes from the Anava of Moshe Rabbeinu. You see, Yeshua became Anav with the Yud of Moshe Rabbeinu becoming Yeshua. That didn't mean that the Meraglim basically were a bunch of Rebbes who said, listen, Eretz Yisrael is going to be bad for our children. We've got to keep them in the shtetl. It's not that he's like, I have the Yud and I know what's best. That wasn't that. You think he responded to them while they were saying what they were saying in Eretz Yisrael when they came out? Yeshua and Kalev said we saw different things, right? What was Yeshua saying basically? When you carry the Yud of the Anava of Moshe Rabbeinu, like we said last week, how do you know if God's really talking to you? If you can't even tell another person. If you're able to tell another person, by the way, no, I know what the truth is, God told me, that means it wasn't God who was talking to you. But if God really talks to you, it's because He's doing it through the Yud of Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the same Yud from the letter Anav, humility, of Moshe Rabbeinu. Because we all know, in this country, to really get something done, if you have an ounce of gaiva, the land will swallow you up like Korach. But if you're coming with all your anava, and because you're a Talmid of Moshe Rabbeinu, then you have a chance to mamish conquer the land. And by the way, who conquered Eretz Yisrael eventually? Yoshua. Yeshua was the one who then comes into Eretz Yisrael and conquers Eretz Yisrael. Because from the time his name was changed till he came into Eretz Yisrael, how many years? For 40 years he's trying to figure out, Ribono Shel Olam, what's that yud you put in my name? What is it? What does this mean? For 40 years throughout Sefer Bamidbar and throughout Sefer Dvarim and until Sefer Yeshua, he's still trying to understand, wow, I see that I was saved from what all the holy people were saying about me and to me. But what does it still really mean? And when you keep on going in your journey in life, being in awe of the qualities which you have, not being proud of it or enjoying showing people how talented you are, but being in awe of it, it only gets deeper and deeper. These midas become deeper and deeper within you. Yeshua's walking around for 40 years saying, Ribono Shel Olam, what does it truly mean to be Anav? You're asking that question? What does it truly mean to have that which you already have? You're the man to conquer Eretz Yisrael. You know, Rabbi Shlomo was very against people that said, listen, we have to conquer Eretz Yisrael. The 6 million were killed. Look, they opened the gates for Yerushalayim. He was very against that statement. That's God's cheshbon. That has nothing. You can't talk like that. Shlomo says, you want to go to people that saw their parents being put in ovens and tell them, listen, it got us Yerushalayim? Chas v'chalila. You can't talk about it. It's stuff we don't understand. Much bigger than us. And now, how many years are we back in Eretz Yisrael already? What is it now? 66 years it was the 66 years? Yeah. It's because we have a schus of there's always 36 tzaddikim walking around saying, Ribono Shel Olam, what is Eretz Yisrael? What is it called? What is Yerushalayim? Not we have to show the world it's ours. What is it? What's the yud that's keeping us alive? Until we realize that Eretz Yisrael is not a place to see if I could live in or if I can't live in. It's the land that I'm holding on to for dear life. We still won't conquer it. Our children expect us to finally conquer Eretz Yisrael. Conquering Eretz Yisrael means looking at the beauty and the talent and the gifts which Hashem bestowed upon us and asking Hashem, after saying thank you, saying, but please show me, what does this really mean? Anyone that's ever made Aliyah, like my friend Yishai Fleischer, who had a great concept for a rally, which I think we should end up doing. A big concert saying, he said, keep on making Aliyah. Keep on, he says, like, we make Aliyah once. No, you don't. If you make Aliyah once, you're not really Eretz Ochelet Yoshveh. You're an American that's kind of living here, but is not sure if it's really for him. Eretz Ochelet Yoshveh is keep on making Aliyah. Over and over and over and over again. Reb Nachman's words, that the teva of the mazon nitapech lenizon, that the nature of food, that it becomes the essence of that which consumes it, should not make us feel threatened and scared. It should humble us. And it should make us feel privileged, lucky, and eager to continue figuring out who we are and why God gave me what He gave me. That's all this whole world is. Looking at your own neshama, looking at the yud, and trying to understand, Ribono Shel Olam, please show me why you gave me that which exists within me. This is the way to conquer Eretz Yisrael, and this is what the whole world is waiting for us, Yidlach, to finally get together and do. All right, Shekoach, everyone. It should be a beautiful week. Thank you for coming. Eretz Yisrael week, Yerushalayim week. The real week, unfortunately, there won't be shir next week. We'll continue the following week, Parshas Chukas. Back with Para Aduma.